Have you ever watched a team of incredibly smart people, armed with the best tools and the fastest AI, work themselves to the point of exhaustion, only to realize the project hasn't actually moved forward an inch? This is the default state of modern work. Inboxes overflow with status updates, dashboards blink with urgent alerts, and AI agents churn out 50-page summaries of every meeting, document, and data point. We have built environments where everyone can see absolutely everything. Yet if you ask exactly who is responsible for taking the very next step, the entire room goes quiet. The symptoms are everywhere. We schedule meetings to discuss the results of the last meeting. Critical alerts sit ignored in chat channels. AI assistants invent facts to fill the gaps in their logic. Decisions that should take an hour drag out for weeks. We are generating a massive amount of friction and mistaking it for momentum. Maximum effort and maximum information do not equal progress. When a system stalls like this, the instinct is to push harder. We buy a smarter AI model. We build a more detailed dashboard. We send longer, more comprehensive emails to the entire department, assuming that if everyone is informed, the problem will solve itself. But communication is not coordination. Communication is simply distributing words. Coordination means actively changing what the next person in the chain can safely do. A beautifully written update might leave you perfectly informed, but completely unable to act. We fail because we confuse visibility with responsibility. We assume that because an alert was broadcast, someone owns the response. The missing piece of a stalled project is never raw intelligence. It is the invisible architecture that connects all those individual pockets of intelligence together. To see where this architecture breaks down, you have to look at the smallest possible unit of shared work, the handoff. This is the exact moment an output leaves one person or one AI agent and becomes the input for another. In a typical handoff, the raw material makes it across the gap. The dataset is exported, the document is shared, the summary is generated. But the constraints, the doubts, and the reasons why the data matters, those are stripped away and left behind. If meaning does not travel with the data, the next worker inherits a massive hidden risk. They have the object, but they have to guess how to use it. A complete transfer fixes this by carrying 4 specific things. It states the purpose of the work. It defines the risk boundaries. It flags exactly what context is missing, and it explicitly names the next action required. Sending a file or an AI prompt without that surrounding context is not a handoff, it is an interruption. A transfer of material without a transfer of meaning destroys the chain of responsibility. Once you understand that meaning has to travel, you need a way to track it. You need a diagnostic map to show exactly where shared work is falling apart. We call this the coordination spine. It begins when a signal appears. But a signal needs meaning to be interpreted. Once clarified, it must be routed to an owner. That owner takes an action. Because motion without learning is useless, action must generate feedback. Finally, feedback updates memory, deploying a structural repair, making the entire cycle smarter. Think of any project that is currently stalled in your organization. Think of an AI tool that keeps failing. The problem isn't the whole system. The problem is that one specific link in this spine has been severed. This diagnostic spine becomes even more critical when we introduce artificial intelligence. We often assume AI will perfectly self-organize. In reality, AI agents suffer from the exact same coordination failures as human teams. They act locally, optimizing their own narrow tasks without any awareness of the global goal. If you connect 5 brilliant agents together without a coordination spine, they don't solve your problem. They create a highly confident, incredibly fast debate. They overwrite each other's work, get trapped in endless loops, and act on conflicting rules. But a coordinated AI ecosystem behaves differently. The agents respect strict memory boundaries. They execute flawless handoffs that carry context. And when they encounter uncertainty, they stop and route the decision to a human gate. Adding more agents to a broken workflow just automates the confusion. Scaling AI capability is highly dangerous unless you proportionally scale the orchestration that binds those agents together. When you build a system with this kind of spine, the environment changes entirely. It stops treating its participants, whether they are humans or machines, as a passive audience. It begins treating them as accountable owners. We tend to view constraints as a form of micromanagement. They aren't. Proper constraints are simply standardized connection points. They are the guardrails that allow individual intelligence to move at maximum speed without causing a collision. Isolated brilliance is no longer enough. The future belongs entirely to teams and systems that know how to move together. Coordination removes avoidable guessing. When every handoff and owner is visible, trust is no longer a hopeful assumption. It is the inevitable byproduct of the architecture itself.